with our first versus gentlemen only battle, right? It's gonna be a head-to-head of two strong leaders that's coming out here. That's gonna give us some head-to-head action, right? On some very, I won't say controversial, but some sensitive topics that we
Yes,
really
you will.
a
Yes, you
lot
will.
of people want to, know about, right? So, we come here. So gentlemen only is a safe place, right? For men to be able to come together and speak freely, uninterrupted, no issues, to be able to get things off of our chest. It's a place for growth, a place for healing, that men can just, understand you're not the only brother going through what you're going through. You're not the other brother that's thinking the way you're thinking. And so this is a place for us to grow, to be transparent, as well as for women to be able to understand, right? Because a lot of sisters want to understand the men's psychology. So this is a place that you can hear, you can even comment, right, of what's going on, what you're hearing, so we can grow. So if you got a sister, brothers at home, or if you pursuing a woman or a woman's pursuing a man, this is a good show for you too, so you can get some understanding and knowledge and stay away from a lot of indoctrinated thoughts, and just really learn so we can grow, right? I've had women come to say they learned a lot about, their husband or their spouse, or they saw how to be better mothers to their sons. And that's what Gentlemen Only is for, is a place for men to come together and speak and have a dialogue, right? So let's get it started, because we got a lot to cover today, ladies and gentlemen. So I got best bros on the call with me. I'm excited, man. Listen, I've been waiting for this call all week long. So this is a familiar face to you, right? That's been on a couple of shows. One of my dear beloved brothers, man. We love him, man. He's always pure-hearted. And when we went to this topic, there's only one brother. I say, listen, I know who to call when we get down to the get down, right? It's the Seven, the guy, the Alchemist, man. Let's give it up for my brother Seven, the Alchemist, man. Listen, tell them who you are, Seven, where you from. For our new listeners who don't know.
Hey, peace and light, peace and light, peace and light. I am Seven the Alchemist, you understand? I'm just around, I am a celestial. I own a branding company. I do quite a few things in the business world. But in reference to humanity and walk of life, I am an advocate of, extending the human race. I don't really divide too much, because information really can't be or should not be divided. You just kind of take what works for you and just use it, right? But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You know what I mean? I own a branding company, Seven Wonder. We can talk about that later. But tonight, I am a polygamist. And I guess Sloan done brought me on to start some trouble, y'all.
Yes,
So,
sir.
that's what we're doing. But this for the fellas, though. You know what I mean? This for the fellas, man.
Yes,
We talking.
Man, it's for the fellas, man. We want to have some fun with this, man. So we had to get my man Seven, the Alchemist, on to be able to break bread with us. And this is one of my most beloved brothers right here, man. This brother right here, man. I could talk about this brother for days, but I'm so proud of him, man. He's a well-accomplished man. You know what I'm saying? Raised children, had a family. You know what I'm saying? Like, the boy got more children than I got fingers, y'all. I mean, he just loved the love. You know what I'm saying? He just loved the love. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy about you. That's crazy.
And so I had to get my brother on, man. Listen, this is the general. We call him the general because anytime we ever did anything in business and life, he kept things in order. He keep us moving progressively. So we want to bring the brother on to talk about very, very successful in his career, doing amazing things, man. My man, G Money, man, Gerrard Brown, man. Tell him who you are, bro, where you from.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. People in this tank out. And I got so many names people call me. But most of the people, like Sloan said, I got a million kids. It's only about, I'm talking 4 biological, but we'll talk about that another time. All my kids, let's say that. But same thing, man. Own a company, a CEO. I own a marketing company here in Charlotte. I'm sure some of my team has harassed a few of y'all out there around here and there. But other than that, man, that's it, man. I learned a lot from this guy that's hosting right now, Adrian Sloan, to my living room, boy, over a decade ago, maybe 15 years ago, I would say. Some life insurance. He sold me into owning my own and, becoming independent. I did that and hadn't looked back, man. I owe a lot of my success to this guy in this red hat right now. So from that time into now, making the money that I make, I don't like to brag, but, doing well. And it's a lot of it is contributing to you, brother. So, of course, I'll be here. Of course, I'll show up anytime you call.
Man, I appreciate you, brother. One of my beloved brothers, man. I'm telling you, the brother got a key to the house, the dog kennels and everything. Like, get it off. Get it all.
Dogs and I got kids. I'm gonna tell you that right now,
Yeah, we definitely neck and neck. We definitely neck and neck. So I'm done with that. Let me pick up another habit, right? But listen, man, listen, guys. I'm super excited, man, for these brothers to be able to take some of their time, y'all, and just really build with us, man. We're gonna build in this. We got 2 topics that we go over today. So you want to share this early, right? For the folks that see it on Facebook, you can go subscribe right now to Dynamite Sloan on YouTube to be able to catch it on that side. If you're on Facebook, yo, share it right now because we want to have this dialogue. Like, listen, I'm gonna be checking the chats and the comments as the brothers are dialoguing and be able to give you guys some feedback, right, of this topic. The way I feel like it may be a part 2, you know, kind of in there somewhere, right? Well, let's go ahead and get this first one off, right? So let me pull up our first question real quick. First question, let's get to it. Bang, let me put it up there. Let me stop this one. Let's go with it right here. So why do women feel they don't have to compete for men the same way that men know that they have to compete for a woman, right? Let's talk about that, right? So why do women feel
straight out the...
I thought he was going to start with himself. I didn't know he was going to hit like that.
You know what I'm saying? Why do they feel that they don't have to
straight out the gate?
Yo, let's get to it. Yo, we already been off air for a couple of weeks, so let's just get right to it, right? Why do they have to compete? Listen, so before we dive into it, right? I you know what I'm saying, I could be a little extra with information, right? I looked at Wikipedia, right? Because I know when we say that word competition in relationships, it relates to man and woman and how that comes across, right? It strikes an emotional chord. So what I wanted to do, just for my own sake, right? This wasn't for y'all. This was for me. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to go back. I want to look at Wikipedia and see, what does Wikipedia say? What's the definition of competition? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that word mean? I see the emotion that it causes when it's said, but what does the word really mean? So let me see if I can share my screen real quick. I want to share my screen, and y'all let me know if y'all can see it on y'all side.
You know when we start going for definitions, it's the juggler you really want.
I just wanted to know. This was for me, yo. It was more for me than it was for y'all. But let's talk about it. What does the word mean, right? So based on definition, right? Before we get over emotional, right? Its definition, right, is a rivalry where 2 or more parties strive for a common goal. Now let's stop right there. Pause. Time out. Right there. Our question is, why do women feel they don't have to compete for men, right? Based on definition, the definition of competition is where 2 or more parties striving for a common goal. Now let me ask y'all a question. Is it millions of women out here in the world? Is it millions and billions of men and women in the world? Period. What we know over this, so that's a group of people and that's parties, right? That's more than one person, right? So if a woman sees a man that he likes, probability says she's not the only woman that likes that man. Is that true or not true? Can we agree on that part? That's
100% true. Yeah,
that's fair, right? That it's billions of people in the world, millions of people in each city, based on major metropolitan areas. Based on definition, is a rival of 2 or more parties striving for a common goal. So if a woman sees a man that she thinks is a good man, handsome man, hardworking man, 9 times out of 10, I think it's safe to say she ain't the only person who recognized that. Are we good there to say that, right? We good
not
to say
all.
that?
Not at
all.
Right,
cool.
Not
so we
all.
got that, right? So which it can't be shared, right? So competitions arise between entities, right? Right, organisms, individuals, economic, social groups, all these different things, right? Compete. But check this out. I want to skip down here. Animals compete over water, supplies, food, mates, and other biological resources. Humans usually compete for the food and mates, through when these needs are met through deep rivalries, often arise in the often pursuit of wealth, power, prestige, and fame, and static repetition. Blah. I think we got it, right? So I'm gonna unshare that for a minute, because based upon definition says the word competition means more than one person in pursuit of a common goal. So why do women feel, right, they don't have to compete for men the same way men know? I want y'all to follow the word. They feel they don't. We know we do, right? So, fella, let's talk about that for a second. Why do they feel that way, right? So why do y'all think that? Based on definition, right? Why do women feel that way?
Oh man.
Let Seven spearhead it. He laughing. I was gonna let him start, you know.
Why women feel like they can walk in a shoe store and they know they wear an 8 and they asking for a 6. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you know, the thing about it is, you know, I'm the first male born in 20 years on both sides of my family. I've been around nothing but women my whole life. My mother had salons growing up. I was the boy washing the little girl's hair on Saturday morning. You know what I'm saying? I was ear hustling. I was listening to everything the women say they hated about their man and blah, 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 what worked and what didn't. And even as a father or as an adult, if you go to a playground and you take a little girl out there and it's a bunch of little boys out there, give her just about 20 minutes and I promise you, she gonna be in there trying to boss every little boy in that sandbox.
All right.
Why? Because in her mind, she's the boss.
Mm-hmm.
So when in your mind you the boss, there is no competition.
Mm-hmm.
However, majority times, because there are exceptions to the rules, there are some bosses out here. See, not the bad bitches, we talking bosses. Because why? There are levels to this.
Absolutely.
You might be from Little Rock, Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? And Forever 21 is that store, and y'all out. You know what I'm saying? She's the baddest. But then she come to Atlanta and she realized, oh wait, maybe I wasn't as, I might need to think about this again. But because they do it to each other so much, when a man is involved, they feel like they've already won. No matter how they look, no matter what they dress like. What you mean? Ain't nobody better than me.
Right. So going back to the feeling, it's a mindset, right? So women feel they don't have to compete because of the mental mindset that they feel like they've already won. They don't see a competition, which is a good confidence, right? It's a good confidence to have to feel like you got the sauce. So my question is right. So let me hit you with the question. My first question, right? Is it safe to say that women have an issue openly admitting to it, even though they know that they're doing it? You see what I'm saying? So if a woman sees a man and she want to pursue that man, and she know that man is sought after, he may be attractive, got some stuff going on that she may like, right? But she never wants to openly admit that she's competing, even though that she is. And I find it to be real weird because a man doesn't have to tell a woman she's competing, but a woman to be so quick to say, well, I ain't compete with nobody. Like I ain't in competition. Which means she feels, follow me, which means she feels the aura, right? She feels it in her arena that is someone else or other men that would like to pursue that man too. So my thing of it is that when a woman feels that, why don't she just continue to put her best foot forward? Obviously, the mindset, like Seven is saying, is I don't see nobody but me. So why would that be an issue? Why would you feel it's better to fall back than it would be to go forward? Gee, help me out, man. I'm trying to understand. Like they doing it without admitting it, but when you openly say it, it's a defense. Help me out, G. Maybe you can help me get through this.
Social influence, you know.
Yeah.
Social influence is a big thing, right? I think that most women think they want to, because let's be real, they know they're competing. I think we all know we're competing, no matter what it is, man or woman. We know we're competing. Just like the definition you said, it doesn't have a gender. You know, it just says mate, so the opposite sex, right? We're all competing. It just becomes a spot. It can be your upbringing. It could be, you know, in my opinion, this day and age, it's more of social influence because back in the day, it wasn't a hard thing to express what you felt. But today is lame, right? Women are coming up against, you know, opinions of other women. So what's cool right now is to show that a man should be chasing you. You know, that's the new thing. A man will always be chasing you. Every time I go to Facebook, you know, whether it's another song that's saying how much a nigga ain't shit. You know, fuck that nigga, bitch, you can do whatever. You know what I mean? We screaming out acronyms. You know, fuck nigga, free. What I don't even know my daughter. Right? You know, like we in this culture to where it's cool to show how much you don't give a damn about pursuing a man. How cool it is to show how a man is not needed in this culture. So if pursuing, or as a woman pursuing me, in her heart she don't want to lose me. But what I found is that it's better in front of her peers to not show weakness than it is to show me how much she truly cares for my approval. Right? So that's what's always going to win, peer pressure. And we have the worst adult version with Facebook, Instagram, and everything else telling us how to live.
Bro, you said a mouthful, bro. Like 100%. And it's crazy. Like even going to some of our first shows, right? When we talked about just how men at some point have gotten demasculated or minimized of value. You know what I'm saying? Of who we are, what we stand for, right? And so we all for women being strong, and you know what I'm saying, and women being independent. And some women are independent who don't want to be. Truth be told, a lot of women who is independent, working on their own, they're single mom, they don't want to be. Like they don't want to be. You know what I'm saying? They want a man in their life to be able to help build, provide, offset. That's what they want. But it's this radical mindset, right? That I don't need him. You know what I'm saying? And minimize him, and he gonna chase me, and I'm gonna get his money, and da da da. It's being glorified.
Yeah. Another factor though is what you hit on though, right? In a woman's defense, you know, they've been let down, right? So when it comes to the competition, now they're trying to figure out how they get equality without a man, right? So now you have to figure out, I'll let you down. Me letting you down, our relationship was a hard thing for you. You lost money, your credit score went bad, your kids is confused. You know, women lose a lot and they're not used to losing and having to pick it up as we do. They're used to losing and having support. If a woman comes out of a relationship, she can run back to her mama, her daddy, her friend, whoever. If we come out of a relationship, it's lame for us to do the same. We need to figure it out. So what happens is women are hurt, right? So they're going, I'd rather try to become as close as I can, the level of a man to get it myself, do it myself, than to trust another man and lose it all again.
Bro, you said a mouthful right there.
So in essence, you know, they're led by emotion, and garnished by fear, because everything starts, the entire nucleus starts from the beginning. Everything starts at the beginning. All of it. Everything starts at the beginning. If she had a host of family, if she had a father, her uncles, if she had these things present in her life coming up, she's a completely different woman versus a woman who did not. You understand? So she's product of her environment. Now, the difference between that woman coming up versus a man coming up, come on, that was our sister. So it's not like we came up different, you know what I'm saying? But the difference is, while she was coming up, mama was trying to show her how to protect her heart to not be mama. Grandmama was trying to show her how to not be grandmama, you know what I'm saying? And how to be a better version. While we didn't necessarily have that, you understand? So they started with that. You know what I mean? For the most part. Now, obviously, there's exceptions to every rule. So if your coming up is based upon protecting self, right? Now, let's go back to being boys. When we were coming up, we were taught to let in. You understand? We were being taught to let in. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It's okay, let them in. You know what I mean? You can figure it out, let them in. They were taught, keep them out. So how does that happen in a way that is really advantageous to growth? It's not. So majority of the time, it's a lot of beat up, right? And what happens when a woman has ended a relationship? Eddie Murphy did a whole comedy special on it. They have a whole ritual, fuck them, you know what I'm saying? Or the F them dress, you know what I mean? It's celebrated. So think about it. These are layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers that you're packing upon. And they girls celebrate this ignorance. So now after a woman has reached a certain age, bro, and she's walking out, she really feels no matter what crazy job she got, she could work at McDonald's. You understand? She could drive a beat up Honda that got 3 wheels on it and a shopping cart bottom. You understand? But as long as that booty fat, she could twerk it, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case, her girls are celebrating this, whatever she is, and they walk into this den of mating, right? Any social club, any lounge, any restaurant, they walk in packs, and they already giving each other this false sense of that doesn't need to happen to really be an amazing person. So all of this trumped up makeup, you understand, is being let out. And once she's met you at the bar, she's already made up in the mind. She's the baddest you gonna ever meet tonight, no matter what the room looks like.
Yo, and that's all mental. So and that's the point of this whole dialogue, right? This point of the dialogue is not to say, okay, you know what I'm saying, anything disrespectful towards a woman. I want to address the feeling, right? So that's why I said, why do women feel, right, that they don't have?
That's why I took you down this trip.
Exactly.
If you listen to what I'm saying, this is the reason why. Yeah. You understand? Because they were raised. You the most beautiful thing in the world, baby. You are my princess. You are the most beautiful thing. Ain't nobody beat you. Ain't nobody better than you. You are the absolute.
And get misled. It's a disconnect. It's a disconnect. Because if you meet a good man, no substance. And this the thing, it says, like, if you meet a man of substance, everyone want a good man, right? The Cinderella story, everybody want Prince Charming, all this kind of stuff. Let me be honest with you, right? From a man of value, and a lot of my brothers, I get calls all the time. Sloan, you know, you got any brothers? Sloan, you got any cousins? You know what I'm saying? Because they see certain men of stature and status. But let me be honest with you, some women ain't ready for that type of man, mentally, emotionally, right? What it would take to really be at that level and really go to the distance of a man that's at their level, because it's not surface. But of a man of substance want to have some substance from you. It's a value exchange. Does that make sense? So beauty ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's cool, but a man that wants some substance, you're gonna have to mentally connect with him there. It's mental, right? We want that mental to be able to have a conversation. I can't talk about your shape all day. Or I can't talk about, you know what I'm saying, how long it took you to get dressed or how much your outfit costs. So that's nothing. You're gonna lose a man with substance with shallow conversation. Does that make sense? And so what I'm saying, when a woman, the word competition to me just means show who you are, show your value. You know what I'm saying? Because you can look at a man, and most women size a man based on what he got going on, right? And they do that from afar quietly. But a man, we in an era where most men understand that it's very few quality of men, and there's an abundance of women that's coming at them all the time. So ladies, let me be honest with you, you're always going to be in competition. You need to accept that. You know what I'm saying?
That's the part. I think though, Sloan, that's the part. I think that
and bring your
I think that's the part.
Bring it to the table, because that brother's looking for that. He's not looking for everybody. I don't care who that man is. He don't want to be with everybody. He looking for the one that connect with him on the level that he's at, and they can build for there. So if you get intimidated that the man that you want, you got to show who you are for him to see you. Because they'll go scripture on me. Well, God says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing, right? Well, you got to find it. How do you find? You find through sorting. If I'm looking for my shirt, I can't find a shirt that I want just by walking in the closet. I got to sort. You know what I'm saying? I got to sort to find. When a man finds you, you have to present yourself. Does that make sense? Of who you are. Just as well as a man has to present himself. A man got to present himself to you for you to feel value. I think it's a big error when women feel like men should just know your value because everybody else know your value, but you don't have to show it to that man. But he's obligated to choose you. That's a disconnect. Just because they know value, but he don't, because you ain't showed it, but you call it competition if you show it because other people want them, and that's where y'all lose at. Straight up. Fellas, I had to get that one out. G, got it, man. Listen, you got it, man.
And look, we gonna let 7 go, but I definitely got something to that he who finds a wife thing. But I'm gonna let 7
go. Please dig into that.
Here's the thing. When someone sent me what the questions was going to be, and I saw that one, it reminded me of a scripture that most people don't know. So people know a lot about the Bible, but know nothing. So at the end of the day, you know, there's a scripture, Proverbs 31:10, right? It talks about a woman who finds as well, right? So a man who finds a woman finds a good thing, but it's a scripture talking about women and what they should find for that man. And people miss that one, right? And I'm gonna read a little bit and I'm gonna let it go, right? Proverbs 31:10, and it says this: a wife of a noble character who can find, right? She is worth more farther than rubies, right? It says her husband is full of confidence and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wools and flax. She works with eager hands. She is like a merchant ship. She brings her food from afar. She gets up while it's still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it out of her own earnings and plants a vineyard.
Come on.
She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her task. She sees her trading is profitable. Her lamp never goes out at night, right? So this whole scripture talks about the afterwards, right? Everybody goes and people love to quote, but they don't read, right? Everybody quotes scriptures. I could say God said that living legend Sloan is a prophet, and people are running with it. They'll never open a Bible to see if it's facts.
That's right. You know?
But women check so much in the Bible to see what they're supposed to do, but they never check to see what women's supposed to do. I was reading a good book, and it said everybody has a purpose before a person, right? So before you have a person, you have a purpose. God called you to have a purpose first. So what is your purpose? Now we're in this watered down, version of society to where the purpose now is just to find a man and he takes care of me. But if you really read the scripture, it's so much about what wives bring to the table. Yes, men have their part, but we're missing the other scriptures because grandma and mama used to just say a man that finds a wife, baby, and when he find you, don't do shit at all. You don't have to do that. He's supposed to find you, and it's done after that.
That's it, bro.
Study to see where their part is.
That's
Proverbs 31 continues to go on about what a woman does. That scripture said that she finds a vineyard to plant out of her own earnings,
which means she took care of business.
But if I told that to somebody today, a woman to go, we ain't supposed to be buying nothing. The Bible ain't say a woman's supposed to. Yeah, it did.
It did.
It said to help provide, to help everything that's going on in that household. She actually works. She has a purpose. And I don't mean to sound rude to the sisters that's listening, but sometimes I feel that we're listening to the watered down society that tells a woman that the only thing she needs to do is find a good man. And everybody on this Zoom right now makes 6 figures or more, maybe even 7, right? So that's cool. But when you go, what it is that we're looking for, no man of value wants to come home to a woman that doesn't bring him anything.
Come on, man.
If the man is making 6 figures, he's not just bullshitting around. We're not just I work day and night. And we can say it all the time. My exchange, right, for time is money. I don't always have the time because I'm making more money. Where I don't have the time because I'm making that money is where she comes in. And if you find the wrong she, you're in trouble.
That's the value. And I know I was going to jump in there, but G just piggyback. I'm going to kick it back to 7 real quick. And that's the point I wanted to make. You know what I'm saying? And G did a great job of pulling the other part. I appreciate that scripture too, because Proverbs 31, that woman was a worker. So let's go to the first part, right? Before he finds the wife, it's a sorting process. You know what I'm saying? And so he's going to select what he see to be value. Men of value choose women of value. You know what I'm saying? I remember after I got divorced, right? And I went through that dating process before, I went to my next serious relationship. And I remember looking at qualities. can the woman be good for my child? You see what I'm saying? Can she be a good mother to my child? That's important to me. You feel me? What's her temperament like on a day-to-day basis? That's important to me, right? How does she handle opposition? Is she quick to yell and start cursing? And which means she got some mental trauma. Like she ain't really dealt with herself on the level that she need to deal with herself. So I don't really feel like she a good fit. She beautiful. We can go out, we can dance, we have a good time. But when I see on a day-to-day, because I'm not going to deal with her from the club scene, I'm going to deal with her from the home scene. You follow me? So we got to look at this from a different perspective. When you looking at sorting through what do you want that's going to connect for your life, a man of value is going to look at if he got children, how does it fit his household? How does it fit his career? Because of a man that's always working all the time, like all my bros getting it, right? And so we're going to be looking for a woman that's solution driven. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to be looking for a person that's going to bring more problems. If you know I got stuff going on, the woman's job is to help create. I feel like men, we mentally create and spiritually manifest, but then the woman multiplies. You follow me? We dropped the seed in her womb. She created a child. It multiplies. This is how this goes. And so when a man is looking to see what direction he's going to go, he has to look for the substance. Yes, the beautiful going to be part. Yes, the sexual, sex got to be good. Yeah, we got to have fun. But in that space of learning what he wants, it's a lot more to go through. And so I really feel like, to be fair, women, to be fair with the bros on in this segment, that we got to be honest. The fact that the competition of it is, if you want a man with value, you got to have some yourself. You see what I'm saying? You can't expect from a brother what you're not providing. And you can't expect, because other people felt like you was bomb and you was pretty, that he going to feel like that. Yeah, you ain't pretty, but what do you add value to his life? I always feel like when a man chooses a woman, you follow me? He found the woman he can't live without. It's that piece of him. It's that piece of him that when he connect, I'm going that way, right? It ain't always beauty. It's a mixture. Beauties, brain, spirituality, financial, fun. It's a mixture. And some of y'all feel like because y'all the baddest one he ever talked to, that you the best one, and you wrong. Because it ain't the best, the baddest one that he talked to. It's the best one. The best one got the mentality. She got the spirit. She got the spunk, and she believe in that man's vision, and he feel it.
And she don't look like the baddest one.
You know,
and she always
it's
with the red bottoms and the stilettos all the time. Man, listen, y'all better smarten up.
Look, it's funny, Sloan. It's funny, man.
Smarten up.
When you because number one, this show is for men first, right? So to the men first, here's one of the issues. Women say to us that they don't want us to want them for just their physical, right? That's how the whole conversation started. I want you to want me for who I am, not for what I am. Right? That's one of the first things. Now, the crazy part about it is that if you ever give your woman the opportunity to actually not need anything from her for like 2 weeks, I promise you, and I'm talking no sex, no food, no money, no cleaning, no ride nowhere, no nothing. I'm talking no deed where you're just fine, you're good. You will find out the caliber of woman you're in a relationship with within them 2 weeks. You understand? Because a woman's nature is nurture. And they're so used to a man needing them to cook or clean or to have sex, these type of things, that they don't actually know what other value they actually can bring to a relationship. You understand? And a lot of these Bible thumping, a lot of these, you know what I'm saying, a lot of these cult religion, a lot of these men that's running around here, you know what I mean? I look at these dating apps, I look and see what people are looking for, I look at these different groups and everything. And it's amazing that nobody wants to be in love no more. Nobody wants to be supportive to one another's. I want for you for what I want for myself type energy. I want for you what I want for myself.
Yeah, man.
Understand? Like that energy realm doesn't exist. So when you remove that essence, right? We forgot what relationships are really all about. So when we remove the essence of real relationship, then all we're left with is deed or steed. You feel me? And the world has tried to complicate life so much that we don't have time for steed. All we have time for is deed. So we going to work, coming home, doing it. Going to work, coming home, doing it. Going to work, coming home, doing it. And if the man she's with is not self-employed or have different goals outside of just this corporate entity, if the woman he's with don't have goals outside of this corporate entity, then that's really all you left with. So it's easy. If this is the minimalistic aspect of courthood and mating, it's easy for a woman to feel like that she's the baddest chick or she don't have to compete when she walk into a place of maidenism. Why? Because by theory, the moment he done walked over here and talked to me, girl, he made his choice.
That's it. That's true. That's true. And it stops there. You know what I'm saying? But
in the world of monogamy, yes. In the world of monogamy,
right.
Yes. It stops there.
It's more work to be done. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not
no, it ain't. No, it ain't.
Done.
The moment he chose me and this, that, and the third, that's it. We go together.
We go together. Yo,
the moment I give him some of this nookie, we go together.
It's a we together. Lord have mercy. 1775. But listen, yo, dope first half, man. Listen, y'all can put your comments in the chat, man. Listen, put it in there. We just really want to dive into that. We got a second segment that we got to go into. Listen, we got halfway through the show right now. It's about 7:35, 7:40. We halfway through. But listen, we really want to put some content on this. It's going to be a part 2 to this, right? We're going to bring a part 2 to this. Why do women feel they don't have to compete with men the same way that men know we have to? Like, this is a real topic, sis. It's a lot of good brothers out here right now. And I want to be honest. I can speak for myself, right? You know what I'm saying? Out of divorce, out of major relationships, you know what I'm saying? A man who knows love, who wants love. I can speak for my brothers collectively for a moment to say this. Don't get it twisted when you meet a single man that feel like he for the streets. You feel me? Don't get it twisted. For those of us that's older, you know what I'm saying, who know what we want, it's a lot of cats that got some good stuff going on. He ain't for the streets, sis. But you're going to have to compete. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to bring it up because just like you know you got value, most men in today's society know they got value too. You see what I'm saying? So men are not so quick anymore just to choose you because you was valedictorian or you was, you know what I'm saying, you was, prom queen, or it don't work like that. Or what, career you got, or you was on the magazine. It don't work like that. We in a society now that men are more conscious, you know what I'm saying, of choosing what they put in their life. And yes, a man wants a good woman, but it's going to be a woman that fit their life and their lifestyle that ties into the village. In my new book, I'm writing a new book right now. I'm not going to tell you guys the title because it's copywritten. It ain't released yet, but I'm going to start sending it to you guys. But it's a relationship book. My next book, my first book was Dynamite Principle of Success. But my next book deals with relationship and business together. When people are in relationships and people that are in business start dating and courting, the challenges that come with that, because there's a different mindset of a person that's in business than a person that works a job. So if you want to date a guy that's in business, right, it's a certain mindset you're going to understand that we value time at another level. You know what I'm saying? Because time is money for us. And if we don't take care of our business, we don't take care of our family. You follow me? So it's a level of sacrifice that most men in business are not going to be that can drop and do whatever you want to do or travel when you want to do. We can go make $40,000, $50,000 a month and still don't travel. True or not true, fellas? You know what I'm saying? Because in our mind, we know what else we got to get done. I've had women that want to date me and say, well, as long as you make money, we should go travel. Nah, I'm grinding. So a certain woman got to understand, just because you see a man successful making money don't mean he going to lose focus of his target and his goals. A woman got to understand that. So you can't be the nagger or the distractor, because what's going to happen is you're going to push away a good man who really loves you for real. You know what I'm saying? And women got this thing with time. The more time you spend is the more love that you have for them. But it's a balance with that. You see what I'm saying? Because entrepreneurs don't always have time. Men don't always have time, but that doesn't mean they don't love you. That don't mean they don't appreciate you. You know what I'm saying?
That's a Victorian Renaissance mindset. That's not, you know, that's a very 1400 Renaissance time period mindset, because, you know, women of prehistoric day, they took pride in belonging to gladiators. They took pride in belonging to kings. They took pride in belonging to warriors. And those men didn't necessarily have time to be in that village or in that particular moment with them all the time, right?
Yeah.
But because of that excellence of them together, with her being of posture and him being of might, created something and created doors opening for those seeds that they were birthing into the world. You feel me? And those seeds were the beneficiaries of those gods. You know what I'm saying? Of those co-creators.
Of legacy, yo. And we got to come together. So I just want to drop that jewel before we go into this next segment, man. Don't lose a good man feeling like because he don't have enough time for you all the time. Get entwined with the vision of where he's going. And I promise you, you won't feel like you're competing if you're in alignment with him, because you'll already be with him. You already have him. So everything outside of that becomes noise.
But that was a pretty good word, man. That was pretty good.
It becomes noise, because he's not focused on the noise. He's focused on the one that's going on the journey with him. And he'll always honor and secure the one that's securing him. That's the unspoken language of a man that's in pursuit. It's not about the noise. It's who with me shooting in the gym. That's the one that's going to have that man heart.
CEOs don't clock in and out. That's what they don't understand. CEOs don't clock in and out.
Nah,
you know?
We on
five.
Grinding. We grinding.
If you want a man with money, it's always going to take time. We don't clock in and out. I'm on my phone right now. You know, can you check such paycheck? His paycheck good, right?
In the middle of the podcast.
I don't have days. I can wake up at 1 a.m. with one of my employees calling me. I don't clock in and out. When you own, I don't think women understand. They want 9 to 5 man time, but they want businessman money.
Woo!
And they don't relate. They just don't relate. So until they understand that, and they have to understand which one do you want. You can get the 9 to 5 man that's going to have enough money to get you some of the things you want. You know, some of the things you want, right? But Sloan, you hit it on the head, and you know, my lady downstairs, she'll take you time. You make good money, and I'm like a deer in the headlights, baby. We're gonna take a vacation. It's 5 days. And how many days? I can't. No, you know, it's like.
Let's cut it back
to 3. Business running without me for 5 days.
Let's do 3 and a possum.
You know, you talking about a Louis purse, baby. You can get Coach. Like a course, but you know, Louis ain't coming if I leave for 5 days, right? So women have to understand, man. Sometimes such a sacrifice.
Yo, that's a sacrifice. So listen, drop the comments how you enjoy the first segment, man. We're gonna bring that back on part 2, man. We appreciate y'all for jumping on this. So listen, let's go to the second phase of the joint and our last 30 minutes of the segment today. Let's talk about phase 1. Let me change it up on the banner real quick. Let's drop our second topic real quick. Bang! Here we go. The moment y'all been waiting on, right? Understanding the mindset of a not monogamy-based man and polygamy-based man, right? Let's talk about it. So we talked about competition. I see Gerrard eating the mission already.
Oh, I'm gonna go to sleep in peace tonight. I promise you. Okay, I was married too for 10 years. I'm listen. Wisely.
Yo, you know wisely, G. But yeah, everything you say is not a representation of just you. You know, you speaking on mankind right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mankind. There you go. There you go. I'll take the shots. It's all good.
Yeah, so we gonna let my man, right, Seven, the guy, the Alchemist. Listen, we gonna have a segment. This piece, right? I want a segment to really be able to Seven to be able to break down some definition, right? Just for a moment, even for me, right? Because when we hear the different words of polygamy, right, we know what monogamy is based on church and coming up in life, and they said be one man with one wife. But when you go into polygamy, it'd be like, what? it's like an elephant or unicorn in the room, right? So I want 7 just for based on definition, right? Break down, bro. What does polygamy mean, right? Because you gave me 3 different terms of polygamy and different styles of polygamous.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
So
break it down, bro.
Polygamous.
So polygamous.
It's polygamous.
So, you know, polygamy is, you know, by definition just basically means the art of free love. You know what I'm saying? That's polygamy, the art of free love. Now, under that umbrella of love, is 3 different types of polygamy. And that is polygyny, which is one man, multiple women, or multiple wives. Polyandry, which is one woman, multiple husbands, or multiple men. And then polyamory, which is, you know, she knows, he knows, we know type thing. I am a polygamist, which means that I only court, date, or marry monogamous women. And yeah, that's the breakdown of that.
Okay. Now listen, now that was some education on polygonometry. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Because some of y'all feel like if a brother is polygamous, that means he loosey goosey out here. He just running rapid. He for the streets. You know what I'm saying? He for the streets. And
the crazy thing about it, Sloan, is like when we use these terms are very important to be used because it's like this. Because here's the moment I introduce myself to a woman. Hi, my name is 7. You know what I mean? Blah blah blah. I'm a polygamist. Okay, blah blah. And I tell her what that means, and then she goes, "Well, what if I want more than one man?" That's like a gay man walking into a bar saying, "Hey, I'm a gay man," and she goes, "Well, do you still like me and want to get married?" No. That's not what that means. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand what certain things mean, because you sound foolish. You sound extremely foolish saying to a man who just identified with being a polygamist, what would he think of you having more than one man? That's you out the race.
All right, so let's go back to these 3 definitions, right? Because this is a real topic, you know, because I'm going somewhere with this. Y'all stick with this, right? The show is not about just how to be for the streets. No, this is a real conversation that we want to understand the difference between the base of men we want the psychology of monogamy, right? And polygamy, and then understanding it, right? Because I feel like there's a lot of brothers that may be in a monogamous style relationship, but they really have a desire for polygamy but don't understand it, right? I feel like the socialism of the world, they don't feel accepted, understanding what their desires are, and they haven't researched the knowledge. So I wanted the 7 to come on for the brothers to bring some knowledge to the table, and for the sisters to be able to understand what does this really mean, so we can start with these false indoctrinations of emotions, and we can start classifying people in categories that does not exist, and that's not what that means. I wanted to bring out the realness of what it means, so it's not a conversation behind a closed door or we running from. So 7, break this down one more time. The 3 different levels under polygamy of polygamy, man, woman that deals with give it all 3.
You got a polygamist, which is a man who has multiple women. You have a polyandrist, which is a woman who has multiple men. And then you have polyamorous, who is, as long as everybody knows what's going on, everybody kind of knows what's going on. You know what I mean?
So one is for men, one is for women, and one is we just conscious that is an open relationship.
Pretty much.
There we go. I got it. I mean, I'd like to keep things simple. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much.
I mean, that's good for me right there. That's good for
pretty much.
So we got that, right? So let me ask you a question, 7, right? So as a polygamist, right? Why do you feel it's socially challenging, right? Living in a Christian-based country, right? With all the judgmental remarks around people around the lifestyle. How do you feel about that? Being a polygamist around a bunch of judgmental people who have the lack of knowledge of even what it is, or have done any research to understand the historical aspect of it. How do you feel with that, and how do you combat that as a polygamist?
I feel the same way as I do as a man who's been self-employed for 30 years, who walks around the planet for people who don't understand the value of having their own business. You understand? Like, ignorance is just ignorance. You know, I don't put ignorance in classifications. They don't sit in the front seat, the middle seat, the back seat of the bus. They all drive in that ignorance. They all drivers in that bus of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? But I do lead with empathy. I lead with empathy because a lot of people don't understand based upon what they see. But here's the thing that I tell people all the time. Number one, monogamy is the youngest relationship structure, period. Monogamy didn't come into effect until later in history. You know what I'm saying? The word was given to be fruitful and multiply. Or when you look at the wisest men in biblical context, is those of multiplicity. And so when we look at the way the country, even if you're living in the United States listening to this broadcast, even the man of color, that last man of color that you saw, only 7 to 8 generations back, those men of his lineage was brought into this field to mate with women, to create more babies, to have more workers in the field. This hasn't just been taught to us from eons ago. It's a science that was brought upon. And then when you look at those who have built the country, the Rockefellers and all of those, they share in that same regard. It wasn't until later on that they decided, wait, having too many is not good for control, and we need to minimize this race that we got going on. And you understand? And so it wasn't even the Christian faith that created monogamy. It was the branding of marriage. It was the branding of marriage that created monogamy. And that's a whole other topic.
Talk about it. Now, this is why I wanted to get 7 on, so we can get the understanding, right? So we live in a society right now, right, where it's just, again, the competition of it, you know. So I want to talk to the bros, right? Understand what you want. Sisters, understand what you want, right? If you want to be a monogamous man and build your family, then do so. But I also want to challenge, you know, the brothers out here. Go ahead, G. G coming that way. I want to challenge the brothers of this. Know yourself. Again, this for the brothers. I don't care who watching. I don't care who watching. This for the brothers. Spend enough time with yourself to get to know yourself, right? And I feel like the biggest part of freedom in life is when you get to know yourself, that you don't allow your mind, your mental, your spirit to be persuaded by nobody. Facts. Get to know you. You spend enough time with you that you get to dump out indoctrination and study to show thyself approved. You got to study. Know you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, know where you're going. And then whatever you attach yourself to, that's going to be it. Like, so you can't be worried about judgmental. I think when most brothers don't spend enough time with themselves, they broken, you traumatized, you got issues, right? And you just floating, which means you're going to break a lot of women's hearts. You know, you're going to break a lot of sister hearts. You're going to break a lot of households because you broken yourself, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so I wanted to pull this segment up for that reason. Monogamy versus polygamy, because most brothers don't understand the difference of the two, and a lot of brothers are in between the two, and you only understand the difference of it. And so I feel like a big part of life is being intentional. Being intentional. I think you maximize your growth in life being intentional. So a part of your healing and your growth is going to be to understand where where your feet need to be for you to be free to activate the greatness that's in you. But if you always in between your knowledge, your actions are going to be subpar in everything you do. So identify so you can maximize. Does that make sense? See, y'all probably want like, son, where you going with this? Where you going? No, I know where I'm going with this. We going for healing and for growth. I know where we going. But I wanted you to have the understanding and the definition of what this is, bro, so you can heal and you can grow. Plant plant your feet, know yourself, plant your flag, and grow. But don't get caught in between. But that's how squirrels get hit by cars. You see what I'm saying? They indecisive. So make sure you understand. G Money, go ahead, bro. You got it.
Get him, G, and then I'm gonna say something about that. We're gonna come back to that.
Yes, I'm Mr. Monogamy. Okay, all right.
Mr. Monogamy.
I'm trying to sound educated. You know, mono meaning single. One. That's as far as I get. Seven got me on this. Seven got me on the breakdown. I'm not gonna tell you that I have levels of breaking down mono. You know what mono means, and that means okay. Mono means I done heard that enough.
You stupid.
Now for me, it's a versus battles, everybody. So now I have to defend monogamy. You know, I have to defend monogamy, especially with my lady downstairs. I better do a good job.
Very much so.
I'm sitting like this right now.
Hey, I'm gonna call you later. Make sure he's still home.
Oh man. No, hand claps first and foremost. Sloan, I think you hit it on the head. Regardless of what people think, being indecisive is the worst thing, right? Women have a big issue with a man not knowing what they want. Even bigger issue when a man decides to choose you and he knows he wants more things, right? Look at my lady with the eyes on the chat right now. Look at her listening in, right? So
go to sleep, girl. The baby crying. Go check on the baby. Get off of the Zoom.
Exactly. This for men only, right? So I definitely can appreciate Seven because one thing that I realize he's saying that he has an advantage on compared to some of the men that's in the mono side, right? Is that he knows what he wants. And he's not bringing it to you. So I really respect the fact that he says, "Hey, I'm exactly. Seven. I'm a whatever you call it, right? A polygamist."
Polygamist. Right? There you go.
So whether you like the term or not, you have to like the honesty.
You got
so this is my first time meeting Seven, and to hear that at least he's keeping it real, I'm 100% supportive to that because a woman knows what she's getting into. Me for myself, I've been on both sides. I was horrible on your side. It didn't work out for me. I realized that for me, I was a one-man guy.
You're the one-man guy? Hold on.
Pause. Don't flag. Flag on the play.
They've given me hell for 15 years. There ain't nothing I can do about it. All right. So I realized that I'm for one woman. Now that's not to say that guys out here, because I'm defending the gentleman, that's what this is for. It's not to say that every guy that's in a relationship is a perfect guy. It is to say that guy has a heart and a place to say that he wants to be in a relationship with one person, right? Because on the receiving end, that woman is not always perfect anyway. Women are always looking for the perfect man because they're just good at not saying how perfect they are, right? Or imperfect they are.
That's right. That's true.
But for me, no, I do. In this verse battle, I do believe in the quote unquote Christian way. I understand Christianity is man-made, but still, to the reading of what my word says, right? I do believe in being one flesh. Coming together with one person, making sure my salvation is the best it could be. Doing it the way that I was raised to do it. That's just me. Have I done it perfectly? No. In my life, was I married and did I make mistakes in my marriage? Absolutely. I can say that to anybody right now. And I can say that because I know a lot of people's made mistakes, right? So I'm not insecure about mine. But I can't say that when I did move from one place of marriage after 10 years, got back in that polygamy work, say it for me, Seven, whatever it is, right?
Polygamy.
That side of the world to where I felt like I wanted to test out multiple things. For me, it just wasn't a good feeling, to be honest. I took on a lot of emotions. I took on a lot of, attitudes. I took on a lot of things that just wasn't built for one person to handle, right?
Right.
The one thing about it is that I learned when I went through that phase was that I might have felt that I was in control in my polygamy, but I wasn't in control with their emotions. And that led me in a place to where I started to feel more and more guilty than I could feel like it was fun. And it put me in a bad space. It really did. It put me in a space to where they all were coming. They all were in love. That's the thing. You know, we may even tell, you know, I have told women in my past the truth about what was going on, this woman and that woman, and they didn't care. You know, the women will tell you, hey, this is just fun. This is just that. I'm not really feeling you. I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to catch emotions. Every last one of them did, you know? So
absolutely.
Why was it done to not catch emotions would be my first question.
You meaning on my level or their level?
I'm gonna wait till my beat come on.
Right. So on my level at that time, I felt like you. I felt like, hey, this is my situation, right? Seven. I felt like this is what I'm doing. I'm not trying to be with one person. I'm trying to figure myself out. We can date. We can do this and this and that and the third. Again, you know that level better than me. That's why I came back to the mono side, right? It just didn't work out. So I'm not trying to tell you at all. I'm the one to speak to the profession of that. Have I been there? All men have been there. You know, well, I'll say most men. I can't say all. Some brothers come in, but I never. But definitely been down that road. It just didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me. So for me, I do believe in finding a wife. I do believe in having something to share, someone to share life with. I agree that it should be that person that you feel is your match. I don't think you should rush into something that's not for you. I think that if you're not happy, you should get out of it. I think that it is a two-way street. I do think two people are going to come into a situation and they're going to have differences. I think we're all looking for 100%, but it's not. It's going to be that 80-20 that we may talk about, right? So it's a lot of different challenges, I think, on that end. Don't get me wrong. Me and my lady bump heads all the time. We was mad at each other last night. You know, so we bump heads all the time about what it is that we like, but 9 times out of 10, it's personality issues. I'm saying what I want as a man. She's saying what she needs as a woman.
That's good.
But that's just my comfort zone. I realized the other way I didn't. Part 2, and I'm gonna let Seven get to it, is I'm a man with kids. You know, I didn't want my kids are used to that feel, to that emotion, to having a home, to having a two-way street. Not to say that kids or for relationships are for kids. But for me, as their father, I'm used to giving them a full picture. I'm used to having that picture. I'm used to being a man that comes home and showing them that type of structure, you know, just for me. Now, is that structure perfect? One can say that doesn't make a difference. That ain't perfect. You still can be just as worse in a relationship as somebody in a single marriage. I mean, in a single relationship, I understand. But again, the difference between poly and mono is just choice. You know, that's just my lane.
Yo, that's great, bro. I really wanted G to pull that out because you understand. Like, let me see, Monica, your Wi-Fi got disconnected.
I'm a disconnected Wi-Fi. If it wasn't for me having to be
on, Wi-Fi is now disconnected, right? Well, me and G been rolling for years. I'm talking about like years. Married at the same time, divorced at the same time, single at the same time. We did everything at the same time. You did. And so, like, to know the phase, and that's why I'm so proud of, bro, because I understand, like, this progressive side. And I wanted you to pull it out just for the brothers who need to hear it, right? Just needed to hear to understand, like, as you grow as a man, you find your lane. You see what I'm saying? You're going to identify. I love what bro said. I was in multiple different relationships, and I feel guilty. I ain't feel right. You needed to hear that. Like,
listen.
Y'all need to hear that, right? That y'all need to hear that.
Yeah,
some y'all need to hear 7.
Here we go.
Need to hear G, right?
Slow, cut the music on. Slow. Let me get it. Let me get it.
I just got the Sandman pulled in. Hold on one second. Now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the 7 of Alchemist, the guy that finished his
Let me get it. Listen, hey, first things first.
How many flags are G? Go ahead.
First things first. Number one, first things first. This show is for men first, and whoever watches later. So first things first, I'm gonna speak to my men first. Men, if you out here promising monogamy to these women, you need to be monogamous. You understand? Absolutely. I don't shun any relationship structure. What I do shun is manipulation. You feel me?
That's it.
Now, you asked a question before G got started, and a part of that question rooted to men making choices. And I feel as though men can't really make sound choices without example. You understand? Like we don't know to be business owner until we either seen a forefather, foremother, you know what I'm saying? We read a book, we saw an example, we saw a movie, something inspired us. You know what I mean? We move off of inspiration as beings of the planet, right? And so I think a lot of times, a lot of reasons why men don't desire or walk in the light of true polygamy or polygyny is because they've never really seen, you know what I'm saying, somebody, or they've never really seen enough example of people who are really going after it for the right reasons. Now, it's funny that we go after monogamy, but that's the most failed relationship structure ever made. Yet we still go after it. We claim all these different religions and all these different things, but polygyny has predated that for thousands of years. So it's not necessarily about, what, it's about why, right? So in my defense of what you were saying, G, earlier, when I said, well, why wouldn't they catch feelings, is because when I meet a woman out here and I let her know that I'm a polygamist, I also let her know that I'm dating with a purpose. You understand? I'm a family man. I'm not out here for the streets. Though I may be a man of multiple, you understand, multiple love structure, I'm not out here for the streets. They gotta, one, have what we talked about in the first segment, value. You understand? Two, I gotta know what we doing this for. Three, and then I gotta be able to see past, you know what I'm saying, the sex. Because in any relationship structure, sex only represents 0.25%, if that much. For those who ain't really getting it, shout out. But I'm just saying, you understand? I go for brilliant women. I go for gorgeous women. I go for women of the planet who feel as though this place needs to be better when they leave it than when they got here. You understand? So the type of women that I go for, when I tell people that I'm a polygamist, they automatically assume I'm looking for somebody barefoot, pregnant, in the kitchen, you know what I'm saying, folding up clothes, you know what I mean, in Henderson, North Carolina.
Crazy.
Nothing North Carolina. Shots fired.
You understand? But in essence, you understand? But in essence, if I'm able to create a culture that exists upon truth, it exists upon spirit, it exists upon deed, then as long as we're all working together, then this deed that we create can create for more, and this kingdom can be had. So it's not to say that a kingdom can't be made with two, but math is what it is. So if competition, like what the definition was in the beginning, I know how to bring it back, Sloan. You understand? I know how to bring it. I know how to bring it back. So if competition is what we really in it for, and the competition of life, and if I'm trying to win more than you, then I'm gonna have more on my team than you. And if I bring them in right, then no one can really beat me. In a sense, you understand?
Yeah. So I love it, right? So I think the best thing between us two that I really want to bring these versus battles up for this, it's not to bash either side. So either one of us thinking like that, y'all already thinking wrong. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already off.
Which is why I gave a shout out to those who are monogamous. I say to them, the reason why I'm so forwardly outward, the reason why I'm so visible is to say to men, stop lying. Be what you say you are. You understand? Because
women hate when you take their choices. Be what
you say you are.
They hate it. I'm gonna tell you, like, listen,
I was
a woman will.
I was in a relationship
to run you over if you take their choices.
Look, listen, man. I was in a relationship. Was it dead in love? You know what I mean? She went off and came back and asked me to be monogamous, and I had to make a choice. I had to say to myself, look, I'm madly in love with this woman. I mean, I'm madly in love. And she just came back and asked me to be monogamous. Now I got a choice to make within my soul. Like, do I sell my soul for this woman? Or do I man up and say whatever is to be is to be? And proud to say, time passed, healing was made, and we're back together. You understand? She understands what it is. I didn't want to be without her. She didn't want to be without me. She understands what it is. Look, I'm never going to be monogamous, but I can love you like you ain't never had no man love you before. You know what I'm saying? And we can grow into the existence of time and live on through eternity. And that's all I'm about. G, take it away.
Again, you know, like you said, I'm gonna say like he said, he and if you heard how I initiated mine, you know, I started with number one saying I have to respect where he is, not because I may agree with it, but I do agree with being honest 100%, right? I do feel like you put yourself in the lane of being more of a man in the poly world than the mono world, because we're held by a different standard, right? Our standard is high. We are faced with questions and we are faced with a higher level of pressure than one who is looking at a woman saying to themselves, "Hey, this is what it is." Now, I don't take anything from you. Let me make that clear. Because it still has to be just as I don't know how you do it. Again, I'm not trying to be. I'm telling y'all, I'm not poly.
Because trust me, the level is high, bro. You understand? The levels are high.
Been there before. They got a lot of pressure. They got a lot of pressure.
You gotta be able to listen. You gotta be able to divide time. You gotta be able to, you know what I mean? Like this takes a whole level.
Let me say this. You're deciding to do it with multiple women, so you have way more pressure than me. I take it back. I take it back. I take it back. I'm dealing with one. So the balance that you have, I don't even know. The one I have is enough. But to bring it home 100%, man, the respect that he's showing to Mono, and again, I like what you said. This is for the fellas first and foremost. It's not to impress my lady downstairs. It's not to impress any of that. It's about being honest, right?
Respect, honesty.
Yeah. It's about being honest 100%. Like I said, I've been on the poly side. Now, by definition, did I know I was being poly the way he knows it? No. But I definitely was in the world of doing.
You were studying polyistic.
Yeah, I was poly. You know,
he was poly street. He was just in them streets.
Poly
he was in them streets.
It's the poly horrible. It's the ones you can't do. You didn't do. It's the ones that tried and it don't work, right?
Right.
I definitely respect where he is, his honesty 100%. Like I mean that. I really do. Because in my line on the monogamy side, I haven't been, right? You know, my marriage, I wasn't always. So, and then coming back into a relationship again, it's one of those things that women always say, is he still true? Is he still good? Is he still going to be the man that he was with the other girl in this relationship, right? We know men never get a chance, but at the same time, I stay secure in the fact that I know that every woman I came across had their imperfections as well, you know? Men are just always judged by a higher standard. Why we are, I don't know. But that's just life. But at the end of the day, to kind of bring things home, man, what's for you is for you, right? It doesn't look like Seven over there with his drink in his hand is any less happier than I am with my Henny right now. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you have
brother. Look,
it's working. I do want to say that it works. People have a problem with understanding that everybody's structure doesn't have to be yours, you know. And me and my lady talked about that. And the last thing she said before I got on here, which kind of brings it home to give her credit, was everybody in their relationship has to do what works for them, right? Because just as a woman to judge a man for being poly, there's a woman that's accepting it, or there's a woman that understands that that's all she wants from a guy. That she wants this quality in you. She doesn't want everything else, right? And I've seen women like that, you know, many times over. I don't need you for this. I don't need you for that. But for what it is that you give me is what I love you for. You know, what I support you for. Now on my side of things, you know, again, I feel what I feel. I'm gonna believe what I believe. No, it's not the poly thing, even though I can be a contradictor of it in my lifetime, saying, hey, but you didn't stay with that one woman, you did that with that woman. So you can't talk about me. In no regards can I talk about him, right? Or many men that's on this podcast. We can't talk about a poly man. Because again, we agreed that mono was the thing, and that's being with one woman, and many men have failed. I'm one of them.
Because in that regard, like you had said before, G, you know, you got to be honest with self, and if you know that that's not what you want, I think what a lot of men come to me and say, they say, Seven, you know, what I appreciate is that I'm a family man and I'm not one for the streets, and I never really met nobody who had multiple women that didn't have a side chick. I don't believe in the side chick. I don't believe in that. You know what I mean? A side chick is somebody who's stealing energy from the collective. You know what I'm saying? And why would I be with you if I feel like you stealing something from me? You feel me? Like the only way you're gonna come to this relationship is if you got something to bring to the relationship. Because I heard a wise man say, you know, you may not be in love as a polygamist, but you should be forward progressing. You understand? And that's what polygamy is all about. You know, we got our sisters out here. You know, you got more women than men. So what's the answer to what's the answer to this problem? If we're mathematicians, what's the answer to the problem? We can't just continuously walk around just complaining, hey, we got this problem, we got this problem. But to these men, they also need to understand, just because you desire polygyny don't mean you should be paying for everything. Just because you desire polygamy doesn't mean that they should be a certain way. Doesn't mean that you got to be religious. Doesn't mean that they got to follow this and they got to follow you and you got to be the leader of all. You know what I mean? It's not a cult. It's adults making a decision. Hey, I really want to be with you. I really want to be with you. Now listen, I'm not a one-woman man. I want to be with her as well. You understand? Now, all of these preconcepts, well, should the woman choose the other woman? Look, like we said earlier in the first segment, women already feel like there ain't no competition. So with that mindset, they never really gonna pick the right woman for the village. They can side, they can come to appreciate, they can learn and say, okay, I think she could be. But the picking come from that which picked her. You understand? It'd be so funny to me. They'd be like, well, I heard that I should be helping you choose. Well, who helped me choose you? Whatever spirit that was, we trusted that enough for you to be here, right? So I don't understand what you're talking about. See, I'm not the one, bro. I'm not the one. I don't need nothing enough for nobody to be pulling my strings. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
That's going down Gentlemen's Only archives.
You know what I'm saying?
That one tagline right there.
And to these men who are out there wanting polygamy, they're like, yo, I just want to build. No, you just want an employee for free. Stop. That's not what polygamy is either. You feel me?
Not it. So, gentlemen, we got to wrap it up, man. We're gonna back in the segment. Y'all know how we do, right? So once we do a show, right? This has been a dope show. It's gonna be a part 2. When we do our second show, we always do. So next week we'll start with this topic and finish the rest of it, right? And then we'll phase into the next topic. That's how we do it, right? Because there's always more meat on the bone. But listen, the whole segment, and I'll wrap up. I'm gonna let the brothers do their wrap up real quick, and I'm gonna close it out at the end. But I appreciate these brothers jumping on, right, to be able to share their heart of competition. Like we had that. I hope you took away from that what you're supposed to take away from that. For my man G, first time on the show, man. Listen, I already know, man. G was gonna be able to bring the heat. My brother done put it down. You know what I'm saying? He done put it down. His lady done hop on him with the eyeballs. You know what I'm saying?
Time to go. It's time to go.
Money, talk to it, bro. Wrap it up.
Oh, man.
This is a question I ask everybody, G, when they come on the show. Gentlemen Only is about men healing, right? Making better decisions, getting in alignment with their life, their mental, spiritual, emotional, and just being progressively successful. This is what this is for. That's why it's Gentlemen Only. We can talk freely, right? So what would you hope the brothers took away from this segment, right? Of being able to identify. What would you hope the brother take away in your wrap up?
Honesty, man. Honesty. I think men, I think this topic, and I'm gonna say to Seven, when he broke it down, I didn't know what polygamy mean, and not on any level, right? But you know me, Sloan, I'm not the one to really judge either. I have my thoughts of what I think something is, but until I actually educate myself on something, I don't usually have an opinion. I know I let people do what they do and believe what they believe, but I don't share opinions on topics that I hadn't researched, right? So I do think in regards to what he said, it was definitely some clarity, because in my mind, before coming to this podcast, you just like dealing with whatever type of women, however you want, barefoot in North Carolina, you know what I'm saying? Barefooted in North Carolina, as he would say. But at the end of the day, now, what I do understand is there's standards, right? And standards. So if I'm gonna say two things, it's honesty and it's standards. So if we bring it all the way back around to even women in competition and everything that we're saying, and Sloan, you hit it on the head, man. You really did. At my age now, and we all around the same age. I know you and me, Sloan, we are the same age. Is that men now of our age exactly know what we want, right? We're not in a place to where we are bamboozled, we're food, or we feel that we have to chase. And I think for a lot of women that can be something that's hard to take, right? So I would say having that standard for what it is, and I'm talking to the men, having that standard for what it is that you want, looking at the camera, having that standard for what it is that you want, understanding that whether you're 9 to 5, and just because we all business owners, it's about men on all levels, right? I don't care if you don't have a job. Whatever you feel you need, your standard is, right? Because it was times that I was broke. I wasn't making the money that I was making, but I knew my progression. I knew my success. I knew my hustle. I knew exactly where I would land, right? So never compromise what women think of you based upon what you think of yourself, right? So keep that energy. Believe in who you are. This topic was about why do women, but at the end of the day, be grounded within yourself. Be grounded within yourself. Be grounded with your own morals, your own values. Never let it be a woman that's competing for you. Allow you to lower your standards of who you are. Most people that's competing, or women that's competing, unfortunately, sorry, ladies, don't have nothing to bring compared to a man. They just don't, and it's not any fault of yours. And it's not even saying that that's the design of life, but it is saying that it's something that you have to recognize and you have to understand. My lady may not be on my level, but she recognizes and understands this is his part. Too many women want to come into something and just be there. They don't have anything to bring. And my lady makes good money on a level of work, right? But in life, she understands where I am. So at the end of the day, no, I learned a lot. What I take away and think the man should take away is have a standard for yourself, not for a woman. Have a standard for yourself. What it is that you believe, you keep believing. What it is you want for you, you keep wanting. If it's poly, I agree with 7, 100%. Be honest about it, And if it's monogamy, do your best at it, man. There's no perfect man on either side. But do your best at whatever it is that you say you want to do, and stick to that. But that's my last words, man. I appreciate you having me on, bro.
Super dope, bro. You already know, bro. Ski. We locked down like 4 flat, man. I appreciate G coming on to be able to bring that level of it, man, because it's about the transparency. And I took that away too, G. The level of honesty, transparency is just find your lane. So this brother needs no introduction, man. I've been on here a couple of times, but man, bro, you're coming back next week. So clear your schedule because we got to finish the other part. Don't start all this thing all behind and you can't come and finish out the topic. We got to finish up the topic next week. You go ahead and put this on your schedule. I don't want to hear about it next
Come
next
on,
week. Wrap it up.
You already know. You already know.
With the knowledge, bro. Listen. Let me say this before.
Listen.
Let me say this real quick before 7 says closing remark. I wanted 7. God put 7 in my life for a reason. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of reasons. We do a lot of business with each other. But in this topic, when when the Spirit gave me this topic, it connected me to 7. Because 7 is not just, when you say polygamy, I know 7. 7 is not like sexually crazy running around in the way people try to describe this topic. 7, if you heard him, he's very calculated and knowledgeable. So I wanted the brothers to be able to get this topic, honestly, honest to God. Before he closed out, I'm going to tell you why I asked 7 to do this, because some of you are asking why. I'm going to tell you why. So listen, I wanted him to bring the knowledge of the topic. You see what I'm saying? The knowledge, the essence of what this means. So y'all can stop running around here emotionally listening to what people are saying. You ain't studied nothing yourself. So listen and study. So I brought somebody knowledgeable enough that was bold enough to understand who he is, what his acknowledgement of life is, to be able to teach the brothers exactly so you can find yourself. He found him. Did you find you? So the information was critical to help you identify yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So you can understand yourself. That's why I asked 7 to come, to give definition, clarity, and understanding, so y'all can stop acting like squirrels running back and forth across the street and get hit by an 18-wheeler. Understand what you are and be who you are. You follow me? Don't be what other people want you to be. Be who you are, but you got to know who you are. But let's give some information to it. So if you haven't made a decision of who you are and what you're doing, maybe after this call, you can make a better educated decision. 7, my man, you got it, bro. Closing remarks, bro. What do you want to take away from this session, brother?
Listen, you know, as men, we can't, we have to be so solid within ourselves that it doesn't matter who think what of us. You know what I mean? Like, it just gotta be so. And what we really don't realize, like a lot of y'all, the moment y'all started seeing the gray show up, you started dying to shit, thinking, oh, I gotta look younger, not realizing that these sisters love that salt and pepper. You understand? You gotta let your light shine. And the more authentic you are, they might fight, they might scratch, they might growl. But at the end of the day, that mountain cat is going to love that lion. You understand? She going to love you because she's been waiting for somebody to challenge her thought process. She's been waiting for somebody to be different. She's been waiting for somebody to be honorable, to be honest. You understand? And as long as you are forthcoming and as long as you're honest, you don't owe nothing else to nobody else. And that's what the is, period. You understand? Right now, I'm in the home of my queen, you know what I'm saying? The love of my life. While another queen who I am highly interested in and that I've been courting, I've been seeing, I've been texting, is on the line. Queen, no. Queen, no. Look, man, when you living in the world where ain't no secrets, can't nobody call you, can't nobody shout you out, can't nobody pull your cape. You are the hero of the story, and it ain't no villain. When you really are who you are, you realize it's me against me. So that if it's me against me and I ain't against me, I'm telling them who I am, what I am. Anybody on this train is rocking with me, then I ain't got to worry about no bridges. I ain't got to worry about no barriers. We already moving. We going where we going. I don't have them problems. Who you talking to? Where you been? I ain't got them problems. Where you going when you coming back? I don't have them problems. Why? Because we each know that we are competing. I'm readily and everyday competing to still be that man in this queen life, because I either got to be what I say that I am or I'm not. There's a queen that's listening. I either say that I am or I am not. She listening to hear how I talk about these questions. She listening to see how I answer this rhetoric. You understand? And I'm in present. So I'm never not gonna be. And I'm sure my exes are watching. I'm sure all that watching. And I have children. And my children been raised to be what you say you are. Period. It doesn't matter what that is. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm gonna see you all next week because I'm definitely gonna be in the house Dynamite. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be fire. You know what we do.
Y'all
70 Alchemist. Check me out.
Yo, y'all give it up for the guests, man. Give it up, get up for them, man. These are my boys, man. Listen, as we wrap it to the day, man. Listen, let me just say this again. This deal is for clarity. You feel me? Like as a man, I believe in this. I tell my boys this. I tell my homies all the time. Be who you say you are. You know what I'm saying? If you did it, you did. If you didn't, you didn't. Like be who you are. You can't worry about what everybody else say. Players never listen to the buzz in the stands. I've been competing my whole life and never worried about being in a competition. Never. So you are who you are, but you got to choose your life. Like, so we wanted to create this segment, number one, to identify a segment for the sisters. And even though the question was posed, why do women feel they don't have to compete like men know we have to? That still was for the men, because you need to be able to identify and understand, brother, so you can articulate to the sisters that may be pursuing you what that is. You know what I'm saying? Because most women can't acknowledge what that is or why they feel that way, but they could really be digging you. So you got to know what that is. So again, I believe men are kings, right? You know, the head of God is man, right? And so, you know, the head of the woman is man. And so you got to understand like how this hierarchy goes. You got to get enough information you can give to the woman. But if you don't know, she always going to be lost. And too many brothers are lost, so you can't lead. On no day, you can't lead, bro. You lost. You have not done enough self-time. You have not done the work. You have not done enough study, right? You got to be running here and there like, I'm cool by myself. You got to spend enough time by yourself to identify who you are, what your interest is, what your knowledge is. So when you get into that pursuit of a mate or a woman that's dating or courting, whatever, you got something to feed her. All women, I don't care how much money they make. I don't care what their success is. All women by nature want to be led. True or not true? All women, I'm telling you, they want to be led. So don't ever get manipulated. Don't ever get minimized. Don't feel like because whatever that you less of a man. If you can lead and you got knowledge and you got value, that woman gonna follow you, bro. Because you know where you going, so you know where to lead her. So I wanted to pose that first question to identify that. It says for why do women feel, but it's also men, do you understand why she feels that way so that you can shine light on it? Because if you're interested in a woman, you want to pursue a woman, you need to understand why she feel the way she feel. So if she get emotional, feeling is emotional. If she get emotional, you can't go emotional. You got to go logical. And teach her and guide her and cultivate her if that's who you want. Does that make sense? The second thing of it is this. Understand, bro, just find your lane. I love both of these brothers dearly. And what they gave us is clarity. Both of these men are successful in two different arenas of sexuality. But what I love about them both, they identify what works for them and they're true to it. You're only going to grow as a man from what's true to you. You got to stand in your truth. So you got to stand in your truth. Understand what that is. So when you communicate, you're only communicating purity and honesty. It's not about the girl that you think about what her friends say or her parents think, what their indoctrination or what they was taught religiously or what they was taught based on their society. You only can communicate to another human being based upon where you are with you and when you are with her. That's all you can communicate. Anything that buzz around that comes on social expectations is based on her level of knowledge or her level of raising and then her level of strength in communicating to you. But if you're honest, that's all you owe is honesty. That's all you owe. Women hate when you take their choices. So I'm a brother that's talking to the brothers that say, don't lie, be honest. You know what I'm saying? Say what you want, mean what you say. Because I tell all my
and Sloan is like, look, if you can't beat me up, I ain't got. What I gotta lie to you for?
Yeah, you ain't got
you know what I'm saying? Like this who I am. Why I gotta lie? Why do I have to
when
lie?
I was really running, like people think I'm running
that, I have to lie?
And I'm not. You know, so I'm so focused on the next level. You're gonna see the results in a second. You'll see I ain't just saying it. I'm for real. You know what I'm saying? But when I was running, when I was like running, and ain't had no emotions about the women I was dealing with and stuff like that, I told all my boys, I get way more women than you being honest than you will lying. Way more. You see what I'm saying? Like, I ain't never had to lie to get no woman. Never. I say what it is, and that's what it is. If she want to rock, we rocking. If she want to rock, we rolling. Yo,
the more you tell the truth,
corny,
the more you
corny
attract.
because y'all be lying for no reason. And most women will be like, they roll with it if they want to roll.
They already know.
They only mad at you, bro, because you lying. You know what I'm saying? They only mad because you corny and you lying. When you can just tell the truth, they respect you for the truth.
100%, man.
I'm telling you straight up. Some of y'all feel like y'all
might not like it.
They might not like it.
Might not like it.
I'm telling you, but
they're gonna respect it.
Truth. And I'd rather have
Hunter was telling you that's facts.
Yeah. Facts, yo. Straight
it's
facts.
Definitely facts.
Straight facts. Yeah, she was with me in that season.
Yeah, man.
Straight honesty.
I was with him.
Straight honesty. And didn't feel no type of way about it because, listen, I was a man that was raised, my mom, my pops died, I was raised with my mom. And she told me, listen, if you want a woman, leave her alone. Be honest with her. And women to make a choice. My mother's, the biggest OG I got is my mother, my grandmother. And they taught me that. They taught me that. So I tell all y'all brothers to close this out, be honest. Pick your lane and understand. Don't play, bro. If you feel like you're going to lose her, if she don't want to roll with that, give her the option to say no. Because she'll respect you more from afar as she emotionally disconnect from the situation, but she can still respect you if that's what it is. The issue is when she feel like you wasted her time because you dragging her down the road that she don't want to go. Now that's the issue. Now she resents you because you tricked her, you manipulate, you played emotional games. That's y'all problem. Y'all lie too much because you ain't found out yourself yet.
Y'all lie all the time.
Y'all lie too much. Like I'm telling y'all watch too much TV. Be honest. And then you'll be cool. So I wanted to have the monogamy and polygamy section so you can identify lanes and you can hear from some real men who done been on both sides to tell you at the end of the day, bro, honesty is the best policy. Let people choose which way they want to go. But most importantly, as a man, you got to know which way you're going to go. Most important.
Anyway, they're going to find out. You might as well be honest.
Maybe tell them what it is.
They're going to find out anyway. You might as well be honest.
Tell them what it is. So listen.
We'll be honest. But I agree. I think every man on this call can say we've been in that lane to where we kept it 100%. And had it either way. So, and that's just talking to you.
So, yo, we got to get out of here. It's 8:37.
Listen. Boy, y'all ain't had it today. You paying for. Hey, come on, Slow, because you already know. I get it. All right.
Listen. We're going to be at the Bacardi Lounge in a minute, man. We're going to be on late night.
They don't know, boy. They don't know.
They going to be in the lounge. Them two in a minute. I'm going back downstairs.
Appreciate you guys. Yo, share the video of you on Facebook. Like, listen, on YouTube. Send a link to somebody, man. The replay going to play back in a couple of days. But we hope you guys grew from this segment. And this was real talk. Like, it made it sound like, okay, what it was about. But I think after this show, you really understood what we was talking about. This is about identifying self, identifying where you are, being honest with yourself and growing. This is about healing and growth, right? So listen, your boy Agent Dynamite's on the Living Legend. Y'all know my saying, somebody got to pay the price up front and full with no discount. That person got to be you, man. Ain't no shortcuts at all on success, right? You got to choose your lane and go for it. So I appreciate to my brothers, Seven the Alchemist, the guy, man, my brother Tank, Gerrard, man, I appreciate you. General salute to you, man. I love you boys. Peace and blessings, man. Y'all sit tight for just a second, y'all, but the broadcast is over. We catch you next week, man. Peace and blessings. We talk to you soon. Peace.